Hey, today in this video, I want to talk about letting go of suffering. You would think it would be easy because no one wants to suffer, but it surprised me that it's not as easy to let go as I thought it would be. But then how I finally did it. I'm going to tell you how I finally did it so that you can get there too. It did really surprise me because when you think about suffering, you think, oh, nobody wants to suffer. Why would they hold on to that? And I was surprised because it was sort of hiding deep inside me, and I really didn't realize how much I wanted to hold on to it. But let me start the story. So, a while ago, I was listening to Chase Hughes. He's the NCI guy on YouTube, and he talks about how, different things are influencing us and how pretty much everything on, if anybody's trying to sell you something, he said they are touching what he, metaphorically called dials in your head or on your head. And they're, messing with those dials to affect how you act and react. And that's his take on a lot of things. But I like listening to him because I'm really analytical, and he talks a lot about the mind and how it works and things like that. And so I was sitting there, and he was saying, everyone has these, connections to you. If they're trying to talk you into something, like, a coworker's trying to talk you into something, or, someone's trying to talk you in. He said, like, the car salesman's trying to talk you into something. Um, Even your kid might be trying to talk you into something. But he said that if you know what they are and you can name them, then they lose power over whether or not you're going to act or react the way they want you to. And he said if you can touch your own um, dials, you can affect how you are too. He said this was the thing I think that got me. Hold on a sec. Okay. So the thing that got me was he said, feeling sad or feeling really upset about something is just a tuned in dial, and it's tuned to something familiar, and you know what that is and you connect with it. But if you know that that's what is happening, you can change that dial to a different dial. And when he said that, I went in and I just started really considering that whole idea. And what occurred to me was that I had a deep feeling of sort of mourning and loss about something that happened, pre-verbally, something that happened long, long, long time ago. And the dial was set to that, that point of, loss and sadness and being alone. I think those three things were all that point on the dial that I had. And I thought to myself, okay, well, why don't I just change the dial? And I hesitated. I hesitated to turn that dial. And the thing that came up right after that was, I don't want to lose that feeling because it connects me to what it is that I lost or that I felt that I lost. And that was the closest I ever was to having that thing. And if I lose that feeling of loss, I'll never get that close to having that thing back again. And that blew my mind. I hope that makes sense, that what I just explained. That basically, I didn't want to lose the feeling because it was another loss that took me farther away from what it was that I lost originally. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way the logic was running in my head at that point. And so I sat with that for a minute, and then I thought, okay, I know that's not true. So now that I finally saw it, I could say to myself, that's not true. I'm not going to lose that, connection to that thing because I lose the suffering or the sadness or the loneliness. And then I said, okay, let me change the dial to feeling connected and loved and full again, and not having, no more loss. Like, I have everything I need. I feel good. I feel loved. Let me change the dial to that. And of course, at the minute I imagined changing the dial, I felt 100% better. But it blew my mind that it was so fascinating to me that I would hesitate to let go of the suffering for such a bizarre reason, because it wasn't really a rational reason. It was just in there. And anyway, so once I did that, I was able to stay with that new feeling. And now I know that whenever I go back and I remember the loss and my dial tunes to that old feeling, I can readjust it to the, feeling of being full and loved and happy. And it wasn't hard to do. It wasn't hard to get there. It was just that one moment of hesitation that surprised me. And so I want you to think about anything that you might be suffering with and consider the idea that you have a dial that's tuned into that vibration of suffering, that radio signal of suffering, sadness, loss, grief, whatever it is. And sit with that hesitation and let yourself see what the reasoning is behind it. When you see that it's not true, give yourself a moment to change the dial, knowing that you have full control of these dials. You can change them forward or backward, whatever you want to do. You could, if you do feel a total sense of loss, even deeper once you change the dial, then you can always change it back. It's just giving it an opportunity to see what would feel like if you changed from suffering to a sense of happiness or gratitude or being fulfilled. So go ahead and really mull this over in your brain. I feel like the process is simple. Imagine that you have a dial inside your mind and it's tuned into the thing that's not making you happy. Sit with that and let yourself consider the idea of changing the dial to a different, radio station that makes you happy, and see if you have a hesitation. If you do, think about it for a minute. Let yourself be present with it for a minute. See if it's a logical idea or not. And then take the opportunity after that to change the dial and see what happens. It's a little less frightening when you're not just unconsciously not moving the dial because you don't even know why. This way you have an idea why, and you can take that opportunity to shift the dial. It worked amazingly well for me. If I ever have a sense that I'm back there again, I can change that dial and I don't have the hesitation anymore. So go ahead and give it a shot. Let me know what your results are in the comments. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them again in the comments. And okay, hopefully you got something out of this video that will be really powerful for you and bring you back to how much power you actually have. Okay. And how much freedom you have to change where you are to where you want to be. It's a big deal. We're way more powerful than we think. We have way more power than we think. We're magical beings and we don't use our own magic. So give it a shot. Let me know how it works. If you're interested in working with me, there's a link below that goes to my website. And until the next video, I'll see you later. All right.